I was like, see, that's my criticism of the Bath.
Mm-hmm.
Their emotions spiral out of control more often than I would like, generally speaking.
But guess what? That's acceptable though, right? Because guess what? Here's my premise, right? Here's one of my
What
premises, right?
you say?
Here's one of my premises, right? Because that's acceptable, and that's why I'm about to state my one of my premises, right? Either it's true or not that
Hmm.
worldwide, in any group of people, the motherfuckers who are the barometer of the group are the males. Would you agree or
Right.
disagree?
I agree.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what they do. I have evidences of BAPs who are from some people call low to motherfuckers with names and shit saying this shit. It don't matter
Sorry,
what we
sorry,
do.
sorry to interrupt. What does the word barometer mean? Sorry.
Like a
Mean,
gauge.
yeah, how you measure a motherfucker,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
so when you say when black men are the barometer of the people, so like put that all together in meaning, please.
Altogether, it means that in any group, or specifically BAMs, right, we are the barometer of the group. So when most of the time when motherfuckers talk about why we're fucked up, it's Melatonin's fault. It's Alvin's fault. It's Onyx's fault. It's Off Cold's
Okay,
fault.
okay, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I see. Okay, okay, that
You
makes
not
sense.
about to
All
sit
right.
up here and say it's Trisha's fault. No.
No,
No,
they're
no,
not
no,
gonna
no,
say
no.
it.
No, no, no. They're gonna be like, oh, you a bitch. You're a bitch. Okay? They ain't even gotta be intellectual with that. You're a coward. Okay? Okay.
Hmm.
Accept that. Move the fuck on. Right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
We
I
are.
guess they did. It's called feminism or lesbianism.
It don't even matter about that. That don't even matter.
Now, off code. Now, I left one little detail about my encounter with the Bath doing that.
Okay.
Now, you know who called me a coon? It was another Bam.
There it is.
Because I didn't cuss out the white people in the same manner she did.
See?
I'm you a coon. I wouldn't have let them white people talk to her like that.
Exactly.
And you was just cool, Alvin. You wasn't really saying nothing.
Yes,
And
sis.
then so watch how that gets reinterpreted. So now, because I wasn't acting like a buffoon, that then means I agree with what the white people were saying. You see how
Mm-hmm.
this works?
Mm-hmm. You preaching to the goddamn choir, and I know you know it. That's why I don't humor motherfucking name calling, talking about goddamn coon and all that dumb shit, Asian and all of that shit. I
Right,
don't humor
right,
that dumb shit. That's dumb shit.
right. It's retarded, man.
I'm not humoring it. You say what you say if that's how you feel. Okay.
Because now here's the thing: the BAM. Now I'm really gonna sound like a comedic person, but I almost kind of agree with them in a sense.
About what?
That thing that a bath has in between her legs may be the most powerful thing on planet Earth because
So
it makes men do the most craziest. Men will do the most craziest things
Exactly.
for that thing in between their legs.
And you know what I call those types of males, Alvin?
What's that?
I call them swords.
Yes.
They are swords or things that females can wield against you. And that's why, I don't.
And they would their life. They, they,
It's that background. What's going on? Go ahead.
look, off coat. They will literally risk their for that thing in between their legs.
And guess what? It's not just that though, Alvin. There's another component that a lot of us don't talk about. It's validation. That proverbial pat on the head. You're a real man.
Oh, no. Oh, you know this. Wait a minute. A
The
man.
validation.
Look, check this out. Off code, and you know this. Hey, off code. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but a man is not what tells you what a man is. The woman tells you what a real man is in this society.
Exactly.
When you go up on Facebook, you'll see what a real man post is. It's all bad. A real man does this, and that. And if you don't that, you're not a real man. It's only females writing stuff like that.
Exactly.
So dudes will read that. Hey, I want to be a real man. You know what? You right, sis.
I was taught to respect women, right? Now, even that fucking saying, right? Respect all women, right? That is illogical than a motherfucker, right? No. You're saying to me that I should respect this motherfucker because she has a pussy. No, I don't. Okay? Respect, wait a minute. Respect is earned and then maintained. No one should start off from a position of respect. Not myself, no one else. Okay?
Yes.
I don't give a fuck. Because guess what? Unfortunately, in the climate that we're in right now, the entities that come out of the let's just pretty it up, Stargate, right? Of the Baps who we fuck with are fucking new slaves. They do not benefit us as a group, okay? That's why I say Bam Hood. It doesn't negate Baps because just like any other female, when males come together, females in that group benefit. Okay? This is why I say if anyone should be courting, because you know how we typically think about courting, right? A dude trying to get some pussy from a female, right? Or favor from her, right? No. If any courting should be going on, I should be courting Alvin. I should be courting Onyx. I should be courting Melatonin. Because the definition of the term is merely to gain favor. That's how you create networks.
Yes.
Okay? And guess what? Here's something that I've been doing lately, and it stems from Resh, right? I've been on Periscope, and all I do is when I see these females on there, I say gang, right? What do you think is the response, generally speaking?
When you put gang,
all I say is gang. That's it. Gang. They got a whole bunch of motherfuckers talking to them, and all I say is gang. What do you think primarily is the response from these Baps?
they either respond saying gang gang back, or some kind of hood, I would say ratchet response in a comment. Like gang gang or bang bang, something like that.
They love it. And I'm saying that I suspect this comes from it's ideological, because gang is ideological, right? However, it speaks to their biology. You know what I'm saying? They see that because this is what they've been around. Gang represents motherfuckers who are fucking criminals and shit, right? And you know, we have this cohort of, well, we have some sector of BAMs who sit around talking about their educated lames and shit, and they get mad. They say, why you want the goddamn thug? Guess what, educated lame? These motherfucking thugs support motherfuckers in the hood.
Now look, now watch this. Now you this is a segue into something I was about to say, and this is actually really sad. The very rational and logical thinking BAMs or BAFs, the very logical and rational, non-emotional BAFs are kind of pointed out as sellouts by the other BAFs.
That's right.
And I'm gonna give you an example. This woman was dating a guy, and it's on Facebook. She gave her testimony. She was going through breast cancer, and her boyfriend took her to all the hospital meetings, took her to her surgery, nursed her back, literally was wiping her ass. Okay?
Right.
He was paying all of her bills, because she couldn't work, and he literally nursed her back into health and stayed with her even though both of her breasts were cut off. But guess what? He cheated on her. This is my
You breaking up, Alvin. Started
I was very hurt
you broke up
by the fact he cheated on me, but was here for me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
She said this man was here for me during this whole process, nursed me back to health, literally wiped my ass, and I decided to stay with him. I'm not going to break up with a good man because he cheated on me this time. Do you know the vitriol the women attacked her with? He doesn't love you. You got low.
Oh, you're breaking up. We can't fucking hear you. You probably got to drop out and come back in, Alvin. We definitely want to hear that.
That's the problem I got. Can you hear me?
He come back with, that's the problem I got. We ain't hear none of that. We ain't hear none of that shit.
Man.
You probably have to drop out and come back in. You probably have to drop out and come back in, Alvin. Drop out and come back in, Alvin.
I can hear all y'all.
You can hear us clearly?
I can hear all of you clearly.
Alvin, are you there?
I don't know what happened to him. Until he comes back, I just want to touch back on the whole gang thing. Yeah. I was gonna say, I think honestly, when you say gang and they respond gang back or gang back, first of all, to do like any fascination for like dogs, it's hip. It's like when people say peace God. I'm gonna say it's just like hip hop. People don't want to call whatever we have hip hop now, but I'm just gonna use the word hip hop for lack of a better term. Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So where did I leave off? I was talking about the lady who was in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
So I told you her boyfriend nursed her back to health, wiped her ass, took care of her bills, paid. She didn't have to work, and he stayed with her even after both her titties got cut off. Okay.
Right.
Now here's the thing. He cheated on her.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what she said? She was like, listen, I was very hurt that he cheated on me, but I am not going to break up with a good man like that. No other man that I've been with would have dedicated his life to me like how he did. So I decided to stay with him. Do you know how these baths attack that woman?
Of course. They
said she has low self-esteem. He's not a good man because he cheated on you. You could do so much better. All of the logic and reason went out the window. It's like it's like all of the other stuff the guy didn't even matter. Oh, he cheated on her.
It's null and void.
You know, it's like, and then they attacked her.
Of course.
They said she was weak for staying with a man like that.
You know what, Alvin? Let's do this, right? Let's do this. I think that. Go ahead, Anna. Go ahead.
Now, I was gonna ask. Let's say you played that scenario out in reverse, and then you had a man who posted that. You know what I'm saying? I understand that my girlfriend or wife cheated, but you know she's too good for me to let her go. And then he posted do you not think that a bunch of BAMs want to attack him?
Me?
You know what? I don't. I honestly don't know. If he put up a video like that and said, "Hey, I was paralyzed from the waist down. I couldn't take care of myself. She was paying all the bills, and I found out she cheated on me, but I stayed with her." I don't know if BAMs would attack the guy like that. I don't know if they would say he's a weak.
No. I don't know. Niggas from the hood have been like, well, niggas from the hood have been like, well, you're paralyzed from the waist down. Like, fuck, she's not fuck. It depends. Like, she's like, they look at it like some niggas can handle it, some niggas can't. The niggas that could handle it will be like, yo, well, if she's not sucking his dick, it's fine. Like some little shit like that, or it'd be like, you know what, like whatever, she's bringing me paper. They'd have more reason, or like turn the level of debt. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And some niggas be like, you know, like you know, fuck, you have a woman holding you down while you're paralyzed from the waist down. Fuck, she's fucking the next nigga. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it depends on how quick did she fuck on him. Some niggas look at how quick did she fuck on you. Did she fuck on you after years, or did she fuck on you like as soon as you just lost it? You know what I'm saying? And it depends on the sexual nature of the woman you have. Some niggas should know if you have a freaky bitch, but then the freakiness also can tie to her emotionalness, to how she feels to giving her pum pum to the next nigga. Like men will look at it from all these angles. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right, but the women just straight up attacked this lady. Like they said she had low self-esteem.
They so-called dragged her. You know what? Let's do this, right? We have Kansu Shezmu Amun in the building. You there, Fama? Let's see.
Kansu, you there?
Let's see if he'll respond since he's in the
Kansu just spying on us. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Kansu, you heard what Alvin just said, yes?
Yeah, I did.
What are your thoughts on what he said?
It's a bit ambiguous. It depends on the terms in which that relationship was created. Was it created under exclusivity?
Yes, she was very upset that he cheated on her. It was exclusivity.
Then I could see where the issue could go both ways. But if she don't have a problem with it, that's her choice.
Do you get the rationale behind her staying? It's like, he did all of this other stuff. Yeah, he cheated on me, but when you weigh the pros and cons, he's done more good for me than bad. Like, that was her rationale behind it.
Yeah, I commend her on that.
Right.
It's just not normal. Yes, Kansu?
But it's not normal, no.
You know what? It's even interesting that you said that it was ambiguous when, you know, he said that predicated upon the post that she said she was in dismay about it.
Yes, because BAMs are culturally pressed into lying and pussy pandering. Instead of being honest.
Absolutely.
Tell the Beth, you're not the only one. And I don't have plans for you being the only one anytime soon. But if you still want to deal with me, we can move forward. And because we try to emulate our European counterparts and be stoic and lie and mistreat our women, we don't have the resources that the wham or the white adult male have. And we find ourselves in a conundrum. Because the European female, she has the ability to counter because she has a history of wealth and establishment. Henceforth, an independence movement that was geared toward white women.
Wait a minute.
However, we try to emulate our oppressor under false pretense and find ourselves culturally misappropriated and have destructive relationships.
I agree with the premise of what you were saying, right?
And you know,
hold on, Alvin.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree with the premise of what you just said, Kansu, right? Now, first, I want to ask this: did you just say wham?
That's the only thing I can think of, man.
What the fuck?
Why did you do that?
Nah, we don't. Hey, what prompts us to even do that in the context of this society? That's kind of like us saying white boy. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? In the context of this society, you ain't got to, do what the fuck, I'm attempted to do. You know what I'm saying? For these motherfuckers, there's the white men. They fit the fucking paradigm on which we know.
Now hold on. Now off code. But
you said you see Kansu? Yeah, hey, he on that shit. He on his shit tonight.
Hey, look. Now off code. He did say something in the middle of that that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I think white women are running the show, bro.
Let me tell you something. I am working.
I don't even think it's the white man. I think white women are running the show.
Listen, you ain't heard me say that shit. You ain't heard me say that shit. You sure you ain't
been saying? Okay, I'm preaching to the choir then.
You ain't subconsciously. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm working on some shit, and we'll see how it goes. And the title of it is "The Illuminati of White Domination." ... White women.
Okay? They running the show.
They running the show from motherfucking behind the motherfucking scenes, and that's why I'm suspicious of motherfuckers who say the white man. Any motherfucker who say the white man, I'm suspicious of you. Okay? Because look, white domination could not function without the goddamn help and assistance of these white women facilitating the culture. Where the fuck you think these goddamn so-called race soldiers come from?
Let me tell you, watch this. White women convinced Babs that homosexuality is okay. Bro, go back into your grandmother's era, your mother's and grandmother's era. Black women were not very accepting of gay people. They were not accepting of it. But now, white women is like, hey, go shopping with gay guys. It's fun. They're like a girlfriend. You can be, and now all of a sudden it's cool.
But it all goes.
That's
back
white
to,
women.
For me, it all goes back to biology. It kind of makes sense because generally speaking, males typically give females culture, right? I don't see it as a far stretch, or we could call homosexual BAMs big sisters of BAFs. And that they influence them. It wouldn't be a far stretch on how things are so-called normally, right? Because we've all been in situations with females who we get with them, right? And they start emulating our words. Yes or no?
Look, let me tell you something. White women determine who will be the president.
Who's accepted?
That's the highest vote. The white woman vote is the largest vote you can get. White women determine who's the president. Donald Trump got the majority of the white woman vote.
That's right.
52%, so therefore he won.
But you see how we we stepped over that dead body, and even having a conversation. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The people you cannot talk about, it shows who has control, right? We stepped over the fact that in the aggregate, BAPS voted for this goddamn white woman feminist. We didn't want to talk about that. It was brief as hell if we did, right? But we want to talk about all these goddamn white women, voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Where's the sisterhood? Listen, that's some bullshit if I ever heard it. The sisterhood. Let me tell you something. What I've been doing for the past 2 years, right, is asking BAPS questions, right? And one of those questions is this. I'm asking them if they understand a bit, not even the whole thing, because I don't understand the whole thing about white domination, right? A lot of them say yeah, right? Whether they are so-called conscious or not, right? However, invariably they have the same responses when I say, okay, you understand white domination? You understand that, a lot of BAMs are, in
Wait
prison.
a minute.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Chomping at the bit. Y'all hear him chomping at the bit?
Go ahead, bro.
Motherfucker, you understand that they're in prison. A lot of them are in prison. A lot of us a portion of us are homosexual. A portion of us are some who you wouldn't even want to deal with because they can't do shit for you. So, okay. They say, yeah, we get that, right? And then I say, okay, so let's say you have a constructive BAM. They understand what this means, right? And they're like, okay, we get that. Would you share? Invariably, I have not heard any, whether it's so-called conscious, who talk about their sisters, or not, who will take up for other BAPs. You know what I'm saying? And they bullshit. All of them said, hell no. Fuck them hoes. Them hoes got to get their own. Okay? Go ahead.
Man, look, man. You said something. You just said something that kind of blew me back a little bit. Hold on. When we talk about white women running the show, let's go back to the LeBron James thing, right? Can you hear me? LeBron James is way more powerful, right? He has way more money, way more popularity, way more prestige. He said that about him. He was a victim. Do you peep that? How could this woman be a bully to LeBron James when he's of way higher status? Why? Because it's a white woman.
I mean that's an uncomfortable truth though, Alvin, because I've maintained since I came around that even on this panel, us, all of us, Alvin, Kansu, Melatonin, Off Code, Onyx, Yashar, right? A 15-year-old white girl has more power and influence than we do collectively.
It's a fact.
But that makes us feel bad, and I suspect it's because we don't know how to deal with that shit constructively, because we've been primarily raised around. Some of us on this line may, differ, like Onyx, Alvin, Kansu, right? We've been raised around the females who we love. We inculcate these things through osmosis. That's why I came up with the term triple consciousness, right? This is huge. We go out there and deal with the world like a goddamn hybrid black female / white man / BAM. A three-sided coin. And try to make that shit fit within this society. Kansu, what you think about that?
I would agree with it. I can't disagree. A lot was said in that statement. A lot of layers to that.
Break it down.
Um, and at this point, we have to start applying some of this technology to advancement instead of ponderance, and think of ways to become more applicable with the benefit of this knowledge that we have and this technology that we have. I can generally say that without getting too dogmatic.
I definitely get where you're coming from, right? However, it seems like, we've heard this, like a bit of what you said before, right? Now, this hasn't started with our generation, what you just said. We need to start applying these things, and we start to use terms like solutions, right? I maintain, like the Baba Clark used to say, I maintain that until we understand, or use a term that we created, overstand our position in this shit and these concepts or this technology through the concepts that we create, until that happens, we not gonna see no goddamn statistically relevant change, Consul. We still got motherfuckers talking about they black men, and motherfuckers will say, I'm a man, but white domination, white supremacy, all this kind of shit. Guess what? You know how that makes us look to the world, especially to the females in our group, like a bunch of bitches. But we don't want to face it though. We just want to say, hey, I'm a man, but these white motherfuckers got their foot on our neck. You sound like a bitch. In this country, in this society, there is no excuse for a man. There's only excuses for children and so-called women. No excuse for no man. Am I right or wrong, Consul?
I agree with you. I don't think that you're wrong. But I think it is based on the perception of the individual. Like you've created a codified system that gives you a means to give you a psychological cognate in describing yourself.
Like pretty much up the shoe.
Yes. Each of us have to be able to create a codified means that will give us cognate universally. Because I will agree that this particular diaspora in Northern America, I can only speak for my environment, has given me a disconnect of who I really am. And we need a reform and a restructure in the way that we exchange dialogue and communicate with one another. Absolutely. Under the sense of we communicate for productivity, efficiency, and economic growth.
Absolutely. So
communication is a commodity. And so everyone has to adopt the methodology of creating a codified means of expression and identification, self-identification.
I agree with you, right? Now, let me ask you this, right? Predicated upon what you said, Consul, right? Do you self-identify as a black man?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you a black man?
Do I identify as a black man?
Do you self-identify as a black man?
Yes and no, because colloquially, but in actuality, no, because black is a misnomer and man is a generalization. So if I was to get technical, it's a fallacy.
If you were to get technical and fallacy, what?
It would be a fallacy to say black man.
Okay, so if it's a fallacy to say black man, why do you think that anywhere in your concepts of this thing that you could say yes and no, instead of saying no And because I am a male, what males typically do worldwide is they create their own shit and they follow that shit and they get other males to follow it to create networks, which is, it seems to be much more lucrative than any other thing. Why do you think that is, that you would say psychologically yes and no?
Because we don't truly know who we are. And out of social political domination and military political pressure, we take the path of the least resistance. You know, we culturally appropriate where we find the least resistance. That will give us political asylum, political protection in this geomilitary complex, because we are under the false impression that the motivation of slavery was your skin color, when no, it was commerce. We were prisoners of war, not just slaves. We were chattel slaves. And as a civil unrest began amongst the dominating class, a war was created. And in that war, we became prisoners of war. And so as POWs, we suffer from certain psychological traits of abuse and oppression, in which we lost our cultural center.
Hey, Kansu, I'm gonna let you finish, but I just want to let you know I want to challenge what you're saying.
That's fine. We all have an opinion. I'm not here to claim to be correct. I'm just an observer of my culture.
That's right.
Actually, no. Actually, no. I take it back. I backtracked. I did some reasoning. No. What you're saying is in line with what I was just saying. It was nothing. If you want me to come out with it, it was some theory I just heard. This Aborigine versus this it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, niggas still be prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. Like, hold on. I just want to say, as a Canadian, I can debunk that whole black Aborigine thing, but like, I'm not even gonna get there. It's not even about that. So
we're definitely not talking about that at all.
It was just the whole prisoner of war thing I was trying to get at.
Yes,
so let me ask you this before we go back to Kansu, right? Do you disagree with the whole premise of the prisoner of war term? Melatonin?
I'm here. Yeah, sorry.
Do you, before we get back to Kansu, I want to ask you, do you disagree with the concept of prisoner of war?
We are prisoners of war, or at least it's of Americans.
So not Canadians, not you, just us.
Just you and South Americans and Caribbeans, Jamaicans. So yes, even that would include me. Yes, in some cases, yes, and Ghanaians. Yes.
Okay. So getting back.
So yes, black people. Yeah, actually, yeah. Fuck it, yeah. All black people worldwide. Even if even if you're in Ethiopia, like a place that never got colonized, some niggas is still prisoners.
Understood. So, now I want to ask Kansu some more questions. You there, Kansu?
Yes.
Okay, so predicated upon what you said, right? Do you think that the concept that I espouse of Bamhood is a, for lack of a better term, misnomer, or some sort of political refuge?
No, I think BAM is something that it's a means of reform, and in the evolution of emancipation of people, non-white people, I think it's organic. I think that because of technology, because of the ability to access information at a higher rate, these kind of things are going to materialize. We're going to start understanding counterintelligence, subterfuge, COINTELPRO. We're going to understand it at a higher level and at a greater means to understand that these things were orchestrated, implicated, and highly sophisticated in our oppression. And the false sense of security that we tend to adapt under false pretense of a dominating class that systematically perpetuates its dominance with our perpetual ignorance. We are in a warlike state,
and
because we are the prizes. We are the prize of that war. Our women have been systematically cut off from their cultural ties, and we are producing byproducts that have no knowledge of even immediate history. If you look at our younger generations, they have absolutely no regard to our ancestral ties.
Nothing.
They just deal with what comes to them on a day-to-day.
So in essence, we are generally creating new slaves. Yes.
Yeah, we're creating slave-minded people. I mean, we have a disparaging psychological disgust for our slave history because we don't understand it. It is nothing to be embarrassed of, because we were prisoners of war, and we did not take our slave narrative lying down. We were highly volatile about it and did not accept it. But because we are under white domination, and it hurts to say it, it hurts our spirit because we think we give up when we say this. No, we understand the codified means in which we are psychologically deprived of a reality that we need to fix. We are not a dominant force because we do not reinforce our own dominance. And until we do that and understand that we are in a psychological, systematic war that requires high intellect and strong solidarity and spirituality between people that are non-white, we will continue to perpetuate this facade.
I could dig it. That was a mouthful, Famo, and I understood every goddamn thing you said. So, I mean, why do you think, to, not to, focus on my premise and shit, but it's on the table, right? Because me, you already know, unfortunately, I'm a slave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's so difficult for a lot of us to accept our position under white domination?
Military influence. It's very difficult to fight a tank with a rock. We are in a geomilitary state. When you have civil servants
facts
that wear a badge and a gun, it's kind of hard to say, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do when the gun is pointed directly at you. We don't understand that our elders had a difficult choice. It was either lose a nation or sell a few off. That was a tough choice. And every day that we go outside, we are under military rule. From stop signs to traffic lights to police officers to firefighters, we are under military rule. And because it is political and we do not have a say-so in the economic structure of our politics, we are reduced to chattel slaves. And we are commodities. So we are made to perpetually survive, but not perpetually progress. We need to be in a state of perpetual mediocrity, basically i.e. the middle class, so that we can fuel the machine that maintains its dominance. And it's comfortable. It feels good. It feel good to have your bills paid and go on a vacation.
To be able to stun on other niggas. Right? Stun on these niggas. You ain't got these, I got these, nigga. You know? You don't know this, I know this, nigga. How you know that? Oh, I learned it from white people. I got a PhD. Where you get that from? You know, from white people, nigga. I'm smart. You're dumb. Right? Let me tell you what happened to me last week, right? I was talking to a BAM, right? And he is adamantly against white domination because he doesn't really, you know, typical shit. Y'all, you dig what I'm saying? Just typical shit. You know, you're like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? We got buying power and all that kind of shit, right? You know, the typical bullshit, right? Okay, I can dig that. And I simply asked him, do you have children? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do they wear uniforms? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, goddammit, you dominated. Well, what do you mean I'm dominated, off gold? You know, because they're in a good charter school. Well, they're dominated because the ideologies that are being imparted in your children are white. And the reason that they're wearing those motherfucking uniforms ain't because of you. Maybe because the white people said so. Put them niggly bears in fucking uniforms, or they ain't coming to this school, nigga. And all he could say is, goddamn. I never thought about it like that. What you think about that?
Well, again, a false sense of security. When you are a commodity that is, a valuable commodity at that, you're always going to fatten the pig before you slaughter. So quite naturally, I'm going to take care of my chattel, make sure that they live a comfortable, mediocre life. I was looking at some stats the other day. 60% of NBA players, NFL players, that are African American, are broke within 3 years of retirement. And this goes from your most successful to your mediocre. Yet we look at it as a means of accomplishment to be this. Even though I didn't agree with a lot of his understanding, W.E.B. Du Bois attested this to double consciousness as we aspire to be criminals, rappers, or athletes. And these are looked at as cultural achievements. In a society that you do not dominate in any of those sectors. So it's a facade of comfortability that has displaced us a great deal.
You know what? You said something earlier, Gansu, that this is another segment that I'm working on in the background, right? And it's entitled The Repulsion of Black Male Powerlessness. I want to know, what do you feel about that topic? Just hearing it.
That sounds dynamic. You said the repulsion of what?
The repulsion of black male powerlessness.
Interesting.
I will go into depths in my videos and shit, you know, and attempt my best to explain my position and shit. However, I'll try to tease it out a little bit right now, right? There's a repulsion because of the society that we're in to black male powerlessness. There are no excuses, right? And that's why I say, you know, those of us, specifically BAMs, who sit up here and talk about, you know, I'm a black man and shit, and yet they bitch, moan, and cry and talk shit about those BAPs who step up and say, well, man up, bitch ass nigga. This is the repulsion of black male powerlessness. It's an aspect of it. Let's put it that way, right? Another aspect of it is that females typically, from my estimation, I could be inaccurate, they tend to be jealous of each other across groups, right? With Baps being at the bottom of that, said group. However, there's still jealousy, and within our group, I suspect there's a lot of subconscious jealousy, specifically towards white women. And I think that's what was the catalyst of situations like, you remember the Shea Moisture campaign and shit that Babs had? That's where that came from, where they started to shit on BAMs in the aggregate. You niggas ain't shit. Why? Because you ain't got no motherfucking platforms and no motherfucking distribution companies and manufacturing companies to give us the shit that we need so that we can feel beautiful, to either meet or exceed this beauty standard that we uphold. Y'all niggas ain't shit. But that's what we supposed to take. And I maintain. God damn it. I was born in this shit. I inherited this shit. Don't put this shit in my motherfucking footsteps. At all. Fuck you. That's how you feel? Fuck you. And I ain't even got to say it to you. I'm saying it now. Fuck you. I didn't ask for this shit. This is what I inherited. Shame ain't enough, goddammit. Because if it's true that we are the barometers, BAM specifically, and we are what motherfuckers gauge our group from, shame ain't a motherfucking enough. Because all you want to do, I suspect, is to get us to get in line and conform with white domination. To help you exceed, to either meet or exceed this white woman. No. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. We ain't in this shit for that. Nope. Those of us who, want to be a part of it, you know what I'm saying? Because some of us just say, fuck that shit, you know what I'm saying? We out here doing our thing, But those of us who do, we ain't in that shit. We not in this shit to uplift you. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Matter of fact, Kansu, what the fuck does that mean? To uplift.
What specifically?
What the fuck? What the fuck do you think the context is when BAFs, mostly some BAMs, espouse the ideal that we need to, quote, uplift BAFs?
To me, that's confirmation of biasness. We conflate a lot of things because of our psychological disposition. There's 3 factors that affect us: the past, the present, and the future. 2 of these things put us and give us a false sense of security. That's the past and the future. Because they don't exist off code. The past is over with, and the future is a possibility. And we look past the present and dealing with what's going on now. We don't want to deal with the now. We want to get lost in accolades of the past. I remember when I used to be able to dunk from the free throw line. Now you 50 years old, old man. You can't do that shit no more. Get over it. Or we want to talk about the future. One day soon we're going to get to the mountaintop. But we don't want to deal with the now of the situation. We are put in a slave encampment. Let's deal with now. We are comfortable with eating steak off a garbage can lid because we're used to eating steak off a garbage can lid.
Wow. I understand.
So either we dreaming, man, or we reminiscing. We walking around like zombies.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think that romanticism, whether it's so-called conscious or not, is so prevalent amongst our group?
Because we've lost touch with our narrative. And once that was done, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant move. I mean, in the act of war, you take the women and the land. You impregnate the women, henceforth erasing the history of the slave and instituting your own. And it was brilliant. Very tactful, intent, concise, and precise.
Oh, it was goddamn sophisticated as hell when they came up with that concept. You know, when they fucking threw aside the whole go in and rape and pillage and shit, just tear up everything. And we can go in here and fuck they fucking females or control them through their. Because see, that's another one of my premises right now. Unfortunately, we are being controlled through the females who we love. What say you?
You say we are in control
of
our females?
We are being controlled through the females whom we love.
Most definitely. And it's not the way we think. The women are controlling us because we look like babies to them. Mm-hmm. We look like her son instead of her protector or, quote unquote, her man. The one she looks up to. She doesn't look up to us, we become a liability. And she's ignorant to the systematic depression and oppression of the black male. Because she is the prize of the white man. And she is the bane of existence. She is the epitomal enemy of the white female. The white female has systematically made sure that black females assimilate to looking like them. Look at the black adult females today. They wear the hair pieces, the accentuated eyebrows, and the over-exaggerated hips and buttocks that was used to be made mockery of by the white woman.
Sarah Barker.
And now all black females look alike. Butt lifts, waist trainers, and a drag face that becomes androgynous to where you can't tell whether it's a woman or a man.
And a lot of them broke, so they just deal with the fucking fat that they accumulate.
Oh man, I mean now you got to go buy Prada, Gucci, Escada, stuff that we used to frown upon. One, because we couldn't afford it.
Exactly.
Since when did our economic situation change? Now we can afford $5,000 Birkin bags, $10,000 Gucci bags, and it's become a standard that a woman can live in a squalor, one-bedroom apartment with a $5,000 pair of Louboutins.
And call you a bum-ass nigga at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's not, you already know my premise is not about talking shit about any so-called black people at all. Baps or Bams, right? because I think that's weak. Why do you think we refuse generally to engage in analysis? Because I think that goes back to the question I asked in the onset of this conversation. Do we think that Shahrazad Ali was a revolutionary?
No, she was a coon, according to some of our people. How unfortunate is that? One of the most brilliant minds. But she gets called a coon today. Because she understood the natural balance of males and females. It transcended color. She understands the natural balance of male and females as they interact with.
And motherfuckers want to, it seems like a lot of, well, I ain't gonna even say a lot. A portion of us want to reject the fact that she comes from the Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying, to discredit what she's saying, or what she said, to be more specific, right?
Right.
I don't, you know, it's like, goddamn, even the people who some of them call coons tell truths and have some falsehoods. But why is it that they just marginalize her? Oh, that's just a Nation of Islam, bitch. She wasn't revolutionary. And I'm like, goddamn. Maybe a lot of us don't even understand what revolutionary means as defined by white people, Consul.
Frances Cress Welsing was never called a revolutionary.
Never. Called a goddamn maybe looked at as subversive. You know what I'm saying? Like, but shit, that's the black position right there, right? Motherfucking a fifth colony, a subversive position. That's what black is. That ain't my motherfucking color. That's stupid as hell. That goes against all logic right there, don't it? They hate you because your color. What? I got a black sweater that I wore today. The fuck? I ain't that color, and I don't know a motherfucker who's that color who comes from this stock. I mean, I just... Okay, I got a question for you, Consul. Do you think that it's economic lockjaw that keeps ideals that you and I espouse from getting airplay from those of us who have platforms or huge platforms?
Do you say it's economic what?
Do you think that it's economic lockjaw? And what I mean by economic lockjaw is that, you know, the goddamn jaws are tight closed because you need to get this money. Right? I don't say nothing to upset motherfuckers. Just give them a little bit to make them feel good, you know, and keep the rest out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do you think it's economic lockjaw that's keeping individuals who claim to be about so-called black progression from keeping ideals like how we espouse off of their platforms?
Yeah, I do. I think it is. I think it is because it would cause people to be accountable and responsive. Not responsible, but responsive. One thing that we could have learned a lot from is the civil rights movement. because how futile it was. We were fighting for civil rights, but we never fought for human rights. We fought for rights, but we didn't fight for justice. How could you fight for civil rights in a justice system? A penal system, a codified system. How could you fight for civil rights? You should be fighting for justice and human rights in a codified system. But because of dialectics and subterfuge, we actually thought civil rights progressed us. Much respect to our civil rights leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were just chess pieces. But if you notice, dominating classes never needed a pragmatic demagoguery. Because it was hereditarily passed to all males and the families to be natural leaders. They need not a motivational speech every Sunday. They woke up feeling like they was the shit. They knew they was the shit. They know they're the boss.
They knew they had shit to do.
So we needed civil liberties, water hoses and dogs and getting hung from trees so that we can continue to operate under codified dominance. Okay, nigga, we'll give you a right to vote, but we're going to tell you who you can vote from. Okay, nigga, we're going to let you make some money, but we're going to make sure you move away from your people and give your money back to us, nigga. Okay, nigga, we're going to give you an education and a degree in education so you can learn how to analyze your own people and call them stupid, nigga. And give you a sense of double consciousness. Because we want civil rights.
Let me ask you this, Kansu, right? Because you, I think that you and Ngozi are the progenitors of Team Osiris. Yes.
Yes.
Are you and Ngozi and the other remnants of Team Osiris attempting to break down the doors of the quote black demagoguery that we have currently?
We are attempting to use science as a means to defeat anti-blackness. That intellect does not mean you have to disconnect from your culture.
Science to defeat.
Arguing over whether you're Hebrew or Christian is a waste of damn time. Because that European still kicking your ass.
Kicking our ass.
and he don't care who you pray to. Okay, when you done praying to your God, come work for me, boy. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you a break room in my building, boy. And you can pray to your God in between shifts.
Boy.
And don't be late, boy.
Don't be late, boy. We got a time clock, nigga. Click it on time.
And if you act good enough, I may give you a vacation. Wouldn't you like that, boy?
me ask this, Gansu, right? Because in my inception on coming on Google Hangouts, right, I connected. You were one of the people who I connected with early on, right? If our concepts are so intertwined, why again hasn't Uncomfortable Truths met Team Osiris?
I think it's laziness. I think it's a bit of ego, and something that we need to move forward in. We should have done that a long time ago. I would have to take some of the blame for that because of this psychological conditioning I'm in. This slave shit is hard to shake, bro.
I understand.
It's really some fucked up shit. And that's why it kills me that we got black adult men and black adult females walking around this motherfucker like it's sweet. I have to catch myself every day, man. I be doing slave shit. I be embarrassing myself all the time. I have to check myself.
You? Shit, me too.
I'm like, I can't believe I just did this shit.
Man, this fucking white, this old ass white bitch yesterday, right? I found myself going to pump this bitch gas. I had to catch myself. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, I can't pump the gas. Oh, let me get that for you. Whoa, wait a minute. I ain't bullshitting. I'm trying to tell you the honest truth. I'm like, the motherfucker just. I can't even tell you where the fuck it come from. It's fucking conditioning and shit. The motherfucker said the motherfucker was the damsel in distress, old wrinkle bitch, white bitch. You know what I'm saying? Oh, can you pump this for me? Oh yeah. And then I thought about like, hell no, bitch. No. I'm like, I ain't say no, bitch though. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I'm out. I have to go to work. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it manifested. And I'm like, God damn, look at this shit. Look at this shit. All these fucking white dudes, because I'm working out in white people's land, right? These couple of fucking white dudes out here, she see me and like, can you come and pump this gas? And at that moment, Kansu, I couldn't see it. I guess my programming kicked in and I had to fucking click it off. Like, whoa, wait a minute, bitch. No, you summer white old bitch, you. No. I'm not pumping your motherfucking gas, bitch. You got a hand, okay? That shit ain't amputated. I got the fuck up out of there. But I still gotta acknowledge that, right? I have to. That it happened. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying and shit, but I'm like, goddamn, Well, you already know though, you got one member who, I don't know, maybe it'll take some goddamn conversations and shit, and I know you know what I'm talking about. If that's even possible, because it may not even be possible, and that's fine too. But that doesn't negate that Uncomfortable Truths. There's no reason that it shouldn't meet Team Osiris. You know what I'm saying? To do some shit and put the shit to the side. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't, that's true. I mean, that's cool too. But then again, it's not cool because I think
it's just true.
I think that's a testament that we really don't give a fuck. Even though we say we do, we really don't give a fuck. That's just my take on it. What's your take?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. My connection is bad, but I definitely agree. Constructivity needs to be the priority. You got to let go of some of these facades. Yeah. I mean, this mental conditioning is a serious illness that we suffer from. Stockholm syndrome comes to mind sometimes. I'm like, man, maybe we should get disability for what happened to us. Because goddamn, we destroy each other every day. And sometimes don't even realize it.
And don't even care because of anti-blackness. You know, fuck that nigga.
Man.
Fuck that nigga. Got to get me. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, you got to get you. You already know my premise and shit. I'm all about Bam Hood. Like I said, I should be courting you. You should be courting me. But I'm not the motherfucker to even say those type of words. Like what we should be doing. That shit is a pet peeve of mine. Have you noticed that? That's a pet peeve of mine, motherfucking concept. I'm like, what the motherfucker should be doing? The fuck you mean what a motherfucker should be doing? That sounds so egotistical. This what you should be doing. You should be practicing black economics. The fuck you mean it's what they should be doing? Who are you? No, motherfucker, we ain't even got that fucking psychology down. Even the whole concept of black economics is vague as fuck. So what if we run across a motherfucker or a couple of motherfucking black people who are capitalists to the T council? Then what? That they don't give a fuck about none of that shit you talking about. Mm-hmm. But we went on our way to find black businesses. Yep, we did it. Spent our money with them. They like, nigga, thank you, bye. That make perfect sense, right? Yep. We need to practice black economics. What? The fuck are you talking about? This shit is so old. This shit is so archaic. I can't. I'm off that code. It's my namesake. I'm off that code. No, I can't do it. No, it's too vague. You know what I'm saying? I tried it before I was off code, and that shit didn't work. It didn't create no bonds, no nothing. It was like, okay, see you next time. Like, what the fuck you still doing here, nigga? What you want? I just don't understand why we can't have these types of conversations and keep them going, because a lot of times we like to move on to the next shit. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to drill shit home and keep it in the forefront. Oh, what you got new going on, Kansu? Damn, I just gave a goddamn lecture, a seminar. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if you understand that. You talking about what's new? You got that? Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. Come on. What you got new? What? I ain't got none. Be on some goddamn smoky shit, Kansu. None. None. You know. I just don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we just trendy. Is that what it is? Just trendy.
You say
people.
trending?
Just trending people. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's the next latest fad that white people put in front of us, generally speaking, we like, yeah. Motherfucking president, goddamn Trump said he's the star. What? It get me to thinking about Dale Jones. You familiar with him? The ancestor? Culture Vulture?
Yeah, most definitely.
When he said, when you're thinking about anything, the question should come to you, what the fuck does this shit got to do with me? President Trump ain't got shit to do with me. Nothing. You know, hey, whatever fuck he do, what white people doing, I mean, goddamn, I don't have no goddamn faction or no goddamn statistically relevant cohort of BAMs to push back against shit. So what the fuck do I care about what the fuck he doing?
Mm-hmm. It would make sense to think that way. But you got to have sense to think that way in order to make sense. You got to have some sense.
Do you think shame is necessary?
Do I think what is necessary?
Do you think shame is necessary?
Oh, shame. Shaming.
Shame. For a group.
I think I'm here.
Specifically for a group, let me be more specific. For a
Okay.
group to prosper, do you think shame is necessary?
I would say no. I would say no.
No? Why?
Because let me disambiguate that. Because you gave a general term, I'll concede and say yes. But the people that are being shamed must be psychologically inclined to have a certain level of self-esteem. Because if not, they will psychologically regress.
Mm.
So they must already have an integrated sense of self-worth. If not, the result of what we go through today will happen. We don't have any value for ourselves. So in the slightest self-criticism is taken as kundum, disrespect. You selling out. You talking negative. Just the slightest bit of self-examination. We are so sensitive that we cannot handle constructive criticism.
So how do you think we go about inducing what you said we need? You said that we need what was the terms you used?
In regards to, I've said a lot.
Yeah, specifically about shame. If we didn't have
If we didn't have a lack of worth, we need integrated self-worth. We need a self-esteem.
Right, integrated self-worth.
Reform. We need self-esteem reform.
Now, as far as the latter part that you said, when you said self-esteem, right? I agree with the ancestor, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, when she said the highest form of self-esteem is not lying to yourself. Right?
Okay.
So, with that being said, how do you think we induce this self-esteem?
Well, I like the term shame. I think that was funny how you put it. But I would replace shame with being a realist and being an anti-conformist. I would push anti-conformity in regards to being real. What are you doing in this present day? How are you benefiting as a human being? How was your life benefited? It was just like somebody was talking to me. My namesake was given to me by an ancestor before they passed. And some people just tend to believe that I'm a aficionado of Kemet. At one point, I was real passionate about Kemet. But then I had to ask myself, when was the last time a pyramid did any fucking thing for me? And slowly realized that I was being an egomaniac and taking credit for some shit I didn't even do. And then some shit halfway across the world. So it's the term shame may be harsh, but it may be required. Because the humanistic side of me will say, "Oh, shame is a harsh word," but it may be a necessary word.
Shit, push anti-conformist. I can dig that versus using the term like shame. Anti-conformist. Okay, so with anti-conformist, right? How does it look to push back against this whack-a-mole culture that's been induced in us?
Yeah, could you clear that up? I heard you say that before. Whack-a-mole.
Well,
what would you define as a mole?
A mole is someone who sticks up out that goddamn hole that's not conformist, right? Who seeks to rock the boat, if you will, and you got a whole bunch of goddamn hammers trying to hit that goddamn mole down. Because, to get you back in line or to get you back in conformity to the overall culture.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Okay.
So how do you think that, pans out? Like, how would it look for you to combat this whack-a-mole culture that we do have, unfortunately, and replace it with an anti-conformist culture?
Man, I don't have the foggiest idea. I really don't. It's layers to this shit. I'd have to contemplate because it's not that simple.
I agree.
Not for me. Man. Because an anti-conformist has a strong sense of being and foundation and confidence, a bit of fearlessness and ingenuity. Man, you're talking about a self-independent, self-governing individual to be an anti-conformist.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that it would be more because of our constitution, our psychological constitution, that it would be more plausible for someone with a more religious overtone to push anti-conformist thought?
Religion in its orthodox sense was meant to do that. Actually, in its inception, until warmongers realized that if you can get to a person's religion, you can get to their heart. And it became a countermeasure in war. But in the orthodox sense, yes, I think religion could be a doorway to anti-conformity. But when I'm not speaking of the religion of our oppressors.
You're speaking of like something new?
Something new. We would have to create a reform.
I mean, I really don't even know how the fuck that would look.
I don't either.
Because unfortunately, I'm not thinking that shit would look like you and I.
No, it wouldn't.
I got that. We had a fucking etch a sketch of white person. You know what I'm saying? That's in rebellion against other white people. That's in rebellion against Jesus. Yeah. What's his name? Goddamn Contra. I don't know.
That's going to take a certain level of evolution over a period of time.
I mean, that shit is so fraught with complications right there. Because I'm thinking, because of how the females who love have been taught, right? We gotta fight on our hands right there. Just right there. That's like a huge fight. You ain't about to replace your white Jesus, nigga. Fuck you, and that's kind of why I think that. Hold on. That's kind of how I think that white Jesus is still king,
Mm.
And I think that some of our groups, specifically the so-called conscious community, they chose soft targets, like specifically our Israelite family, right? They understood that they couldn't beat Jesus, and so they moved to a more soft target, and they couldn't even destroy them. They may have emboldened our Israelite family. I don't know. I could be inaccurate in that assessment.
No, I would agree.
If we fucking do anything, because I don't know if we'll be able to do that, if we be able to get past certain things and shit. We do anything. These are the shit that we've been talking about is the type of shit that I would prefer to engage in dialogue with Team Osiris with or about. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers dealing with Jesus is king, motherfucker. What's up? You know what I'm saying? You got some shit to talk about? Talk your shit. Let's see what you guys say. They gonna come in. Oh no, the black woman is God. Oh man, let me tell you something. I suspect, that shit is twofold right there too. Let me ask you: have you ever thought about this, Kansu? Because God and Jesus has been manifested in this culture in a so-called masculine form, right? That invariably you are comparing Baths to a male, and it might kind of correlate to this whole new thing where, like you were saying earlier, it's kind of hard to tell a Bath from a Bam.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are living vicariously through our women because they've been put in a sense of power. The BAM is powerless. I mean, the BAF is a great resource, and now she's a CEO. And because of that, our manhood is extended through her.
That's my mama.
We're determined how much of a man we are based on how pretty and how influential our baths are. All a bath has to do, wash her face, wash her behind, put on some clean clothes, sit on the porch, and wait to be chosen, if she chose to. Now, she works by choice and by cultural appropriation, but she don't really have to work if she don't want to. She chooses to work, so she don't have to. If we don't work, we're useless.
So a human doing versus a human being.
Say that again, bro.
So a human doing, a BAM, versus a human being, a BAP.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that kind of shit got me to thinking about, when I came up with the concept earlier about, you know how the old saying goes, females mature faster than males, right? Now, I started to think about that in human aspects, right? And in financial aspects, and you should be able to follow this to the T, right? When they talk about maturity, what are they talking about in finances? Motherfucker, get to a point where it could yield something, right? So I started to think like maybe that's what they're talking about. Just giving the interactions that I've had with BAPs and shit, and whether they're so-called educated or not, the kind of things that they will espouse, and mostly go off of how this is what I feel. Generally speaking, there are some exceptions that I've come across. Generally speaking, it's how they feel, right? Is it possible that these motherfuckers are talking about they will facilitate the culture of white domination at a higher rate? They'll get to that point where they say, yeah, okay, we accept that this is what the society says at large, and this is what I want, this is what I require, and I require you, Kansu, to give that shit to me. You ever thought about that?
I haven't.
I suspect this is what they mean by females mature faster than males. Just given the, how you was saying the term stoic earlier, right? Like motherfucker is taught to internalize our disposability, as says, the suspected racist Esther Vilar, right? It makes sense in the context of the society, right? Western society. And so you would think that a person who was taught to internalize their disposability would be more rigid and understanding of the environment, i.e., being reaching a level of maturity faster. But they're like, no. Females mature faster. So I'm just, asking BAPS questions and shit, and other females as well. And it seems like they inculcate those ideals, those societal ideals, quicker. And this is something that they place, beyond that pussy, because that goddamn pussy is the that's the bait. Hey, you want some of this pussy? Maybe. Well, if you want some, you need to level up, nigga. Okay, I'm gonna need you to do ... Where you get that from? It's always been this way. What? Ain't even gotta explain it though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just my theory. What you think? What say you?
I think that's always been the caveat. Of course, there's that pussy. That's the caveat. But again, it's the white man's caveat. So she's going to emulate who she captivates. And that white man is captivated with our sisters. And she eats it up.
But we hate ourselves if we point that out, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you heard this before. I ain't attracted to no white man. What? What the fuck? What the fuck kind of attraction do females generally have? Because another thing that I've noticed is that it seems like the concepts that some of us create and shit, it kind of makes Baph seem like they're not females, like they're fucking aliens. Even the whole goddamn original woman shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're something else. You know, some shit that just you're extraterrestrial. You know, you're fucking your shit just fell out the goddamn sky. That's why you're the progenitor of all this shit. Yep, you're something different. You're not like other females. And then they show us that they're like other females. But we want to separate them. And then they complain about it, right?
Right.
So why the hell you think we so goddamn dumb? That we can't connect the dots. It's like a goddamn connect the dot book. And it's like this should just go over our head like an alley-oop. Oh, alley-oop. Who threw a ball? What? I'm at work. What? Nigga, we playing basketball. You talking about you at work? Yeah, your job is to catch the alley-oop. I ain't see it. Mm-mm. Why you think that shit go to conclude this conversation? Because I got to get ready for the fucking plantation myself.
Yeah, me too. I got to get up in about 4 hours.
Why do you think this shit goes over our fucking heads, specifically as BAMs, like a fucking alley-oop, and that we remain in this goddamn suspended, if we want to call it, manhood?
I think we isolate ourselves from each other too much. We need a battle cry, something to galvanize Bamhood, something that we all can relate to that motivates us.
That's what I thought Bamhood could be. You know, it's still, Bamhood is meant to outlive me anyway, so I'm not one of those motherfuckers that think it should happen in our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I think unfortunately, I think we gonna die with this foot up our ass on our neck. That's just what the evidence suggests. And that's why I create
the way it's going.
Yeah, I wanted to create something that'll outlive me. You know what I'm saying? And perpetuate into the future. And that the future will, get guidance and we'll die. And they'll take on the mantle like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, yeah, this was a very interesting conversation. Appreciate you having it with me, fam. I'm gonna go ahead and get the fuck off and shit, and holler at you in a minute.
Yes, sir, man.
In a minute.
Peace out.
Peace.